Hello guys and welcome once again into another lap time challenge video, and today we got Autopolis racing course in group 4. So I would like to go and start with the times. 156 for the gold as it stands and 152.6 is the world record. And yes, this one is pretty special because we're hosting a competition. All you have to do is, well, you need to do a lap here, and who's the quickest guy, he's going to win. As simple as that. So the first 3 guys will actually win rewards. If you want to find out more, there is a link down in the description. All you have to do is go to the website, sign up, and you're automatically in. And that is pretty much about it. So 156.0 for the gold and 152.6, of course, for, well, it's the world record, isn't it? So I would really like to begin this one with a little look at what the global leader did, but unfortunately we do not have the time. So I'm just gonna go, well, we got the Supra. I want to do this one with the Supra. Of course, you can do it with any other car around. I mean, it really depends on what you like to drive. So let's go have a little look and see what he did at Autopolis. So I know the lap times and everything is gonna be, well, it's gonna be pretty tight. So we'll see by the end of the week, and by the end of 2 weeks we will have our winners. So make sure that you check it out. Here, a 100-meter sign, I think it is. Yes, a little bit later with the hard tires. It seems like very interesting. Although he missed the first corner, he is still able to carry the speed. Very interesting. And then we're coming on to this middle section. I know it's pretty difficult. 50, a little bit before the 50. Let the car roll in. Third gear on the way out. There we go. Third into the second. Third once again. Okay. And then very sharp. Yeah, it's going to be very sharp entry. Not downshifting in the first. That's very interesting. Second gear. We're up into third. I guess it's going to be a little bit of braking. A little bit of braking coming down. Fourth gear on the way out. No. He's actually accelerating in third gear, which is usually not the case, I guess. I was always accelerating in fourth, but we can of course check it out. 50, is that going to be the one? Yes, first gear this time, and second gear on the way out. So very gradually putting the power down, I guess because the tires really like to spin. In this case, we're gonna go up to 50, a little bit of trail braking. Okay, there we go, staying in fourth gear, nice amount of rotation, and then staying as close as possible to the curb. This is a 0.9, I think it can be a little bit better. So let's go have a little look what he's doing in here. Third, second, and again third. Third on the way out. Okay, third on the way out once again. A little bit of braking, just a little tap on the brakes, nothing too much. Third once again on the way out in the middle of the corner. I know this one can be pretty difficult, but he cuts the last corner, and that's exactly how you need to do it. So 52.9, you know what, I think it's a pretty decent lap time. So in the end, let's see what I can do. And now, after just a couple of laps, I managed to do a 53.3, and then later I figured out that I made a couple of mistakes in very difficult corners. I mean, this track is all difficult, but I will try to explain it. So here, this is your first braking point just after the 100-meter sign. You start slowly turning at the 50, and then when you see the other mark on the left, this is where you completely turn in. Once again, you can clip the curb, but be very careful about the acceleration. So curbs, once again, you have to be very, very gradual on the power, otherwise the car will slide in that second and third gear, sometimes even fourth. It really depends. So here, this is usually when I see the transition on the road. This is my braking point just before the 50, and then you don't really want to brake that hard, otherwise the car will understeer and you will start losing the car, of course, and you will start losing the speed. Especially here, this is one of the most interesting parts. Just tap the brakes, don't hold it for a very long time, maybe about 15 to 20%, and then just focus on carrying the speed through this corner. It's, well, it's really about coasting and then applying the power in the middle of the corner until you reach this point. This is where I usually downshift into the first gear. You might stay in second. I watched the replay, you can stay in second, but I always try to kind of get it into first, and then you wanna exit in second gear, otherwise the car will start to slide too much. You want to have kind of an early approach and very early get onto the power, as something like that will happen in here. So this is my point for braking, but you will see that I'm braking maybe to about 25-30%. I just want to touch the curb and then start to accelerate in fourth gear in the middle of the corner. If you do not touch touch the curb, the car won't get as much rotation. So if you can touch the curb, and when you're on the curb, 4th gear on the way out. Here, 50. A little bit before the 50, I think it's the best possible option, and early entry. So you can see that I'm early, very, very early into the corner because the curb is going to rotate the car here, 1st gear and 2nd gear when you start to accelerate. If you ever start to accelerate in 1st, the car will most likely spin out. Even in 2nd, it's really difficult to keep it in control, but even in 1st, it's like even worse, a lot worse. Here, this is the 50-meter sign, and this is one of the hardest corners on the track. It's going downhill, so you don't want to stay too long on the brakes. Just a little tap on the brakes, don't trail brake too long, and then upshift into 4th gear and carry that speed all the way out of this corner. So here, this is where I usually don't have a reference point, but it's usually the beginning of the curb. You can brake a little bit less than I did if you touch the curb. So I think touching the curb is something that I missed in here, and then in the end lost potentially a tenth. So, you know, I just had to highlight that. Here, a little tap on the brakes if you need to, if you don't get the perfect line, which I didn't. And now you can actually start to see those marks on the road. This is usually a good indicator when to brake, but make sure that you're not braking for a very, very long time, just to about 50% and let it go. Otherwise, the car will just lose the speed, and then when you try to put the power down, the car will really slide. Here, one of the most interesting ones, I try to tap the brakes here. It seems to be working, but if you touch the curb and accelerate at the same time, the car might get too much rotation, and in the end you will spin out. Something like that is going to happen in here. So this is where I'm braking to about like 50%, 50, around 50, 40 to 50, and in the middle of the corner, when I see this mark on the right, this is where I start to accelerate. If you're on the curb at the same time while you're fully turning the wheel and accelerating, you will most likely lose the car. So make sure that you straighten up the car as much as possible. So yeah, guys, this is pretty much about it. So 153.145, 15th place in the world, and I think with this I'm easily gonna get the gold. And if you follow pretty much the guidelines from this video, you will most likely get the gold as well. So of course, I gotta say once again, check out the competition and also go to the website and check out the rules. So yeah, that's pretty much about it once again. So thank you very much for watching this video, and until the next time, bye.